scoot over a little bit. Not you, not you. You scooch, you scooch. We all good? Huh? No, alright, am I alright? Alright. Sorry about that. I've been having some technical difficulties. I ended up screwing up one of my cameras and had to replace it. At the same time, trying to do a little bit of rearrangement so that way we can have better views. Anyways, so welcome to Daily Bible Kids. We've been reading the book of Numbers. If you're just catching up with us, Moses has taken his people. They've left Egypt. They have been taught what they can and can't do. They have to travel through this desert for 40 years. Well, we haven't gotten that far. Sorry, spoiler. They're getting ready to travel. They haven't traveled yet. So they had to build the tabernacle, which is like a traveling. It's a
place of worship.
Yes, very, very large. It's like a large tent within a tent and a courtyard, and a whole bunch of stuff made out of gold and bronze and all kinds of stuff, right?
Like a temple.
So now they've been given what they can and can't do, what they can and can't eat, the sacrifices, the tabernacle, all this good stuff, right? Now we have a lot of people, and they had to be counted. So we had to figure out how many people we have, and which tribe, and whatnot. So the last thing that we left off was the silver trumpets. Remember whenever they had to make 2 trumpets, and they were given instructions on when to blow them, especially whenever they're getting ready to either attack a town or the celebrations. They had different rules of when to blow them. You had one horn for one thing, or both horns for another. Today we are going to read the book of Numbers, chapters 11 through 13, and it's starting with the people complain to Moses. I know, right? Like after all of this, they're going to start complaining. All right. Soon the people began to complain about their hardship, and the Lord heard everything they said. Then the Lord's anger blazed against them, and he sent a fire to rage among them, and destroyed some of the people in the outskirts of the camp. Then the people screamed to Moses for help, and when he prayed to the Lord, the fire stopped. After that, the area was known as Taberah, which means the place of burning, because fire from the Lord had burned among them there. Then the foreign rabble who were traveling with the Israelites began to crave the good things of Egypt. And the people of Israel also began to complain. "Oh, for some meat!" they exclaimed. "We remember the fish we used to eat for free in Egypt. And we had all the cucumbers, and melons, and leeks, onions, and garlic we wanted. But now our appetite has gone. All we ever see is this manna." The manna looked like small coriander seeds, and it was pale yellow like gum resin. The people would go out and gather it from the ground. They made flour by grinding it with hand mills or pounding it with mortars. Then they boiled it in a pot and made it into flat cakes. These cakes tasted like pastries baked with olive oil. The manna came down on the camp with the dew during the night. Moses heard all the families standing in the doorways of their tents whining, and the Lord became extremely angry. Moses was also aggravated, and Moses said to the Lord, "Why are you treating me, your servant, so harshly? Have mercy on me. What did I do to deserve the burden of all these people? Did I give birth to them? Did I bring them into the world? Why did you tell me to carry them in my arms like a mother carries a nursing baby? How can I carry them to the land you swore to give their ancestors? Where am I supposed to get meat for all these people? They keep whining to me, saying, 'Give us meat to eat.' I can't carry all these people by myself. The load is far too heavy. if this is how you intend to treat me, just go ahead and kill me. Do me a favor and spare me this misery. Moses chooses 70 leaders. Then the Lord said to Moses, gather before me 70 men who are recognized as elders and leaders of Israel. Bring them to the tabernacle to stand there with you. I will come down and talk to you there. I will take some of the Spirit that is upon you, and I will put the Spirit upon them also. They will bear the burden of the people along with you, so you will not have to carry it alone. You got to remember, this is one man and millions of people. That's, well, not millions, sorry, thousands of people. Hundreds of thousands. Okay? It's a lot for one person to deal with. And say to the people, purify yourselves, for tomorrow you will have meat to eat. You were whining, and the Lord heard you when you cried, oh, for some meat. We were better off in Egypt. Now, the Lord will give you meat, and you will have to eat it. And it won't be just for a day or two, or for 5, or 10, or even 20. You will eat it for a whole month until you gag and are sick of it. For you have rejected the Lord, who is here among you, and you have whined to him, saying, why did we ever leave Egypt? But Moses responded to the Lord, there are 600,000 foot soldiers here with me. And yet you say, I will give them meat for a whole month. Even if we butchered all of our flocks and herds, would that satisfy them? Even if we caught all the fish in the sea, would that be enough? Then the Lord said to Moses, has my arm lost its power? Now you will see whether or not my word comes true. So Moses went out and reported the Lord's words to the people. He gathered the 70 elders and stationed them around the tabernacle. And the Lord came down in the cloud and spoke to Moses. Then he gave the 70 elders the same Spirit that was upon Moses. And when the Spirit rested upon them, they prophesied. But this has never happened again. 2 men, Eldad and Medad, had stayed behind in the camp. They were listed among the elders, but they had not gone out to the tabernacle. Yet the Spirit rested upon them as well. So they prophesied there in the camp. A young man ran and reported to Moses, Eldad and Medad are prophesying in the camp. Joshua, son of Nun, who had been Moses' assistant since his youth, protested, Moses, my master, make them stop. But Moses replied, are you jealous for my sake? I wish that all the Lord's people were prophets, and that the Lord would put his Spirit upon them all. Then Moses returned to camp with the elders of Israel. Now the Lord sends quail. Now the Lord sent a wind that brought quail from the sea and let them fall all around the camp. For miles in every direction there were quail flying about 3 feet above the ground. So the people went out and caught quail all day and throughout the night and all the next day too. Please stop. You're not grabbing the marble. Leave it alone. No one gathered less than 50 bushels. They spread the quail all around the camp to dry. But while they were gorging themselves on meat, while it was still in their mouths, the anger of the Lord blazed against the people, and he struck them with a severe plague. So that place was called, this is a long one, Kibroth Hattava, which means graves of gluttony. And gluttony means eating too much. Okay? Right? It does sound like Klingon, doesn't
That sounds like a spell.
it? Kibroth Hatava. Yeah. Because they okay, so but it was called the graves of gluttony because they were buried because they buried the people who had craved the meat from Egypt. But Kibroth Hatava, the Israelites traveled to Hazeroth, where they stayed for some time. All right. Any questions on that chapter?
What's that one stuff they were collecting?
Oh, you talking about manna?
No.
Or quail?
Quail.
Quail. It's a bird. What?
You're probably all confused on
What was those things called that they were that they ate and were tired of?
Manna.
What is manna?
Manna. It described what it looked like. Corion, see it.
substance.
Yes.
That gives
God,
you energy.
okay, so you know what dew is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you wake up in the morning, how the grass is wet, but it didn't rain?
Yeah.
Right, so that's dew. So every morning, as the dew come up, it was also filled with this manna. And they said it tasted like honey. And they could use it on almost anything. Okay? But the problem was, it wasn't so much that about what it was the fact that they were getting tired of eating it all the time. Okay, so you like pizza, right? But imagine eating pizza day in and day out all the time. It gets tiresome. Okay?
Oh, some tacos here and there.
But see, that's what they were saying. Like, all we have is this manna to eat. Like, give us some meat. We want some meat, you know? But the problem was, the manna was a gift from God. I mean, it was a miracle it was coming up anyways in the first place. But it wasn't enough for them. It wasn't good enough. They wanted more. God himself gave them this manna. Yes, it might be tiresome, but God is the one who gave it to you. So you need to be grateful that you have this and that this is sustaining. And they can use it for multiple things as well. Okay? But they were complaining against God. I don't know. A part of me thinks that they could have done it in a different way instead of complaining.
Can you please have something else
But
to sustain?
again, you're asking for more
Yeah.
than accepting what God has given you and trusting in God. That's the main point, is that God wants their trust in him. Okay? And yes, God knows it's going to be the same thing they're going to eat all the time. But it's the fact that they should have just kept their mouths shut and just let it go. Because it was, and be grateful that they even have it. Okay? But I can understand at the same time eating the same thing over and over again. But they, like it says, they were complaining instead of asking. Okay? Because not only that, they said that they felt like they were better off in Egypt. After everything God had done through the flood, the escape from slavery, all of this, they still wanted what they had before. Just because all that food was free and they had their stomachs full and all this, but they were slaves. And God went out of his way to rescue them, and they're still complaining. Okay? That's the biggest point. That's why God's angry. Like, after everything he's done, you do not trust in God to allow him to help you escape into this promised land that's flowing with milk and honey. Okay? It's a perfect place for them. They couldn't have just shut up long enough until they got there. You know? Okay. Colin.
Why did that one person gather 70 people?
70 people? Okay. So Moses is one man. Okay? And there's hundreds of thousands of people. Alright? That's a lot of people. Okay? All their burdens, all their problems, all their questions, all of them are going straight to Moses. This is a lot for one person to deal with. Okay? Imagine this, you yourself. You know how many people you have in your school, right? It's a lot of people, right? A lot of children, right? Now imagine all those children coming to you for their problems. Every single child in that school including high school. Okay? And that is not even the tip of the iceberg. Okay? You guys have a total of around at least 500 students between grade school and high school, correct?
Yeah, I would
Give or
say
take.
Elementary,
Right?
to middle school.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's a lot to you, correct? Imagine all those children coming to you, Colin, for their troubles, questions, their sins, everything, okay? That's a lot for you to handle, isn't it? Now, that's just 500. Imagine 600,000 for one man. It's a lot to handle. That's why we need 70 men to help carry all that burden, okay? Kind of like how a company, you have the president of the company, and then under him you've got your managers and your department managers, stuff like that, because it's a lot for one man of the president of the company to deal with all these problems, okay? Your financing, your accounting, your marketing, your all kinds of stuff, right? It's a lot for one person to deal with, so you got to spread that load out. That's why we're doing it. That's why he's doing this, okay? To spread all that whole load out.
You can't have a school without teachers. Basically the same thing.
All right. So now we're on chapter 12, the complaints of Miriam and Aaron. While they were at Hazeroth, Miriam and Aaron criticized Moses because he had married a Cushite woman. They said, "Has the Lord spoken only through Moses? Hasn't he spoken through us too?" But the Lord heard them. Now Moses was very humble, more humble than any other person on earth. So immediately the Lord called to Moses, Aaron, and Miriam, and said, "Go out to the tabernacle, all three of you." So the three of them went to the tabernacle, and then the Lord descended in a pillar of cloud and stood at the entrance of the tabernacle. Aaron and Miriam, he called, and they stepped forward. And the Lord said to them, "Now listen to what I say. If there were prophets among you, I, the Lord, would reveal myself in visions. I would speak to them in dreams. But not with my servant Moses. Of all my house, he is the one I trust. I speak to him face to face, clearly, and not in riddles. He sees the Lord as he is." Pause on that one. Imagine that one. Okay, so God is so perfect and brilliant that if we cannot see him with our own human eyes. It's not our time. We'll see him as he is when we pass on, okay? Because he is just so perfect. But instead of his face hidden, Moses is talking to God like one-on-one, okay? Moses can see God's true form, his true face. And God's not speaking to Moses in parables and riddles. He's talking to him as I'm talking to you, as a normal person to person. Because God trusts Moses that much. Okay?
That means God does have a physical
He does.
body.
But we are sinners that we do not deserve to see him in his true form
He's not like
until we are there with Christ, and Christ is on our side as our lawyer before the God himself.
Would it be like a celestial being?
They all are. Of course.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so now, so he sees the Lord as he is. So why were you not afraid to criticize my servant Moses? The Lord was very angry. Listen, the Lord was very angry with him as he departed. As the cloud moved from above the tabernacle, there stood Miriam, her skin as white as snow from leprosy. When Aaron saw what had happened to her, he cried out to Moses, "Oh, my master, please don't punish us for this sin that we have so foolishly committed. Don't let her be like a stubborn baby, already decayed at birth. So Moses cried out to the Lord, "Oh God, I beg of you, please heal her." But the Lord said to Moses, "If her father had done nothing more than spit in her face, wouldn't she be defiled for 7 days? So keep her outside the camp for 7 days, and after that she may be accepted back." So Miriam was kept outside for the camp for 7 days, and the people waited until she was brought back before they traveled again. Then they left Hazeroth and camped in the wilderness of Paran. Any questions? You understand why she... Basically, God's setting an example. Okay? Is this all happened to her? This should put some scare into people. Okay? Do you think it will?
No.
Wait, I have one question.
But notice they did not move until she was cured again. What?
Why did she get punished?
Setting an example.
I just ripped that.
He's setting an example.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. And they had... yeah,
I
okay.
didn't quite understand.
Okay, after the reading, after we're all done, I'll come back to you and help you. Okay? Because everybody else, they can rewind and re-listen and whatnot, and I'll sit down with you and we'll get through that, okay? Alright, chapter 13. 12 scouts explore Canaan. So the Lord now said to Moses, "Send out men to explore the land of Canaan, the land I am giving to the Israelites. Send one leader from each of the 12 ancestral tribes." So Moses did as the Lord commanded him. He sent out 12 men, all tribal leaders of Israel, from their camp in the wilderness of Paran. These were the tribes and the names of the leaders. So from chapter 13, verse 4 through 15, all it shows is like Reuben, Simeon, Judah, and then the leaders of them. I am not going to butcher their names. If you would like to see that, you can go back and see that. But moving on to verse 16. These were the names of the men that Moses sent out to explore the land. Moses called Hoshea, son of Nun, by name of Joshua, or by the name Joshua. Moses gave the men these instructions as he sent out to go explore the land. Go north through the Negev into the hill country. See what the land is like, and find out whether the people living there are strong or weak, few or many. See what kind of land they live in. Is it good or bad? Do their towns have walls, or are they unprotected like open camps? Is the soil fertile or poor? Are there many trees? Do your best to bring back samples of the crops you see. It happened to be the season for harvesting the first ripe grapes. So they went up and explored the land from the wilderness of Zin as far as Rehob, near Lebo Hamath. Going north, they passed through the Negev and arrived at Hebron, where Ahiman, Shishai, and Talmai, all descendants of Anak, lived there. The ancient town of Hebron was founded 7 years before the Egyptian city of Zoan. When they came to the valley of Eshcol, they cut down a branch with a single cluster of grapes so large that it took 2 of them to carry it on a pole between them. They also brought back samples of some of the pomegranates and figs. That place was called the Valley of Eshcol, which means cluster, because of the clusters of grapes the Israelite men cut down there. After exploring the land for 40 days, the men returned to Moses, Aaron, and the whole community of Israel at Kadesh in the wilderness of Paran. They reported to the whole community what they had seen and shown them the fruit they had taken from the land. I'd like to try those big grapes. This was their report to Moses. We entered the land you sent us to explore, and it is indeed a bountiful country, a land flowing with milk and honey. Here is the kind of fruit it produces. But the people living there are powerful, and their towns are large and fortified. Meaning there's walls. We even saw giants there, the descendants of Anak. The Amalekites lived there in Negev, and the Hittites, Jebusites, and Amorites live in the hill country. The Canaanites live along the coast of the Mediterranean Sea and along the Jordan Valley. But Caleb tried to quiet the people as they stood before Moses. "Let's go at once and take the land," he said. "We certainly can conquer it." But the other men who had explored the land with them disagreed. "We can't go up against them. They're stronger than we are." So they spread this bad report about the land among the Israelites. "The land we traveled through and explored will devour anyone who goes and lives there. All the people we saw were huge. We even saw giants there, the descendants of Anak. Next to them, we built like grasshoppers." And that's what they thought too. Any questions on that chapter? Any questions on that chapter? What's up?
So, whenever, never mind, I forgot.
Alright. No questions? Alright. Stick with us tomorrow. Hopefully everything goes great. We don't have any technical difficulties, but we'll get through the next part of the reading. Other than that, you guys stay awesome. God bless.